Hello, Ian Young, Somatic Movement Coach again. So the next movement that we're going to be looking at is the arch and curl. So this is a natural extension of the arch and flatten movement that we often begin our classes with, and it goes well after you've done something like the back lift where you've done some strong extension work, because we're going to be flexing forward. So again, it's a movement for the front and back of the body, and again particularly I think for the front of the body, where we're squeezing into these abdominal muscles. And if you feel like you tend to have your forward head posture, you're a bit collapsed in the front, you find it difficult to lengthen, stand up straight and bring your head back, this is a great one. So we're going to start lying on our back again. As always, before you do a movement, you can notice how things are. We're going to have the hands behind the head, we're going to have the knees bent up, and we're going to go back to that breathing pattern that we use for arch and flatten. So remember, as you breathe in, you roll the pelvis forward, arch the lower back, chin comes down a bit to the chest. As you roll back, flattening in the centre, lifting the tailbone, and the chin lifts a bit. So continuing to do that. So as we breathe in, roll the pelvis forward, arch the lower back, and then this time, as we sigh out, as we sink in the middle, we're bringing the elbows really close towards the sides of the head. And then we're just sinking forwards. We're seeing how much does the sternum want to sink forwards. And then on our in-breath, we can open out again. And you notice I sighed out there, so sometimes you're going to need more than one breath cycle. Sometimes it's going to take, you might want either 2 breath cycles whilst you're doing a movement, or you may want a resting breath in between. So because we want to move slowly, maybe your breath cycle isn't as slow as the movement, and therefore you may need to take extra air in. Much better to take an extra breath than it is to try and strain yourself. So let's do that again. Breathe in, roll the pelvis forward. And then as we sigh out, that's when we're going to flatten the back, making sure the back is flat to support the lift, elbows towards each other and towards the knees. And I'm tightening my abdomen, my sternum is sinking. I'm just going to go up, I'm not going to strain. If I feel like I'm pulling on my neck, I can bring the hands more to the side of my head, so I'm not pulling on the neck, I'm just supporting the head. The movement is coming from the sinking and rising of the sternum, and then open out the elbows as you land. So it's a fairly straightforward one if you know arch and flatten already. And there is another option where we could also breathe in, roll forward, and then just do one side, and we bring the knee up, so we're squeezing down one side of the body. And that one you'll really notice it on the lower back muscles, because if you do a few on one side, then what you discover is that the back suddenly starts to feel a lot different on that side to the other side. Whenever we do a one-sided movement, it's gold dust, because it really shows us how the movement is working. And as I've said before, one of the absolutely beautiful things about somatic movement is you can feel it working, and it then can become its own reward mechanism, make you want to do more. So that's a fairly straightforward movement. Hopefully you've got something out of that. Make sure if you've just done the one side, you do the other side, and you can feel it unwinding on that side too. And don't forget to like if you've enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and share, tell your friends.